Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that uses elements of dissociated regression to deal with traumatic moments of a client's past. And the client I was working with really felt that there was 3 or 4 key memories from childhood that were still having a hold and an impact on who they were today. And it was things like an inappropriate interaction with an adult. It was things like a massive change in lifestyle, so moving from one part of the world to a different part of the world. The kind of things that if there isn't proper explanation to a child as to what's happening, it's very possible that a child can interpret what's happening as something wrong with them or something that they have to resolve. And the coping strategies that can occur in childhood often stay with an individual all the way into adulthood. So it does involve specific moments like a moment at a wedding and certain key moments through childhood that are very unlikely to relate to your personal experiences. So what I would say is to really think about this hypnosis session in a different way, and that is as an opportunity for reflection on the significant childhood experiences that you had and what resources or what advice you would have liked to have received back then when the moment happened as a vehicle to learn from the past, but also to create new empowering emotions and resources linked to something that may have a disempowering impact on you. If you feel that moments of your past are still kind of haunting your present and future in a negative way, and you would like help changing them, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me directly. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and just open your mind to whatever comes up in this session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation, and as you exhale, just allow any feelings of stress, worry or tension to feel breath by breath, slowly but surely, they are leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in whatever you consider to be resourceful: strength, confidence, acceptance, even relaxation. Imagine breathing in that feeling of resourcefulness on the inward breath, and as you exhale, get a growing sense that anything unresourceful is leaving your body. And that may be anxiety. That may be echoes of tension from the past. Maybe it's the weight of expectation. Maybe shame. Feel like these things are leaving your body as you breathe out. Breathing in resourcefulness, exhaling unresourcefulness. sometimes it's helpful to attach a color. So allow your imagination to think of a color that best represents resourcefulness. Maybe a bright color, or maybe just glowing bright white light. And as you breathe in that feeling of resourcefulness, allow it to do its work and feel a feeling of resourcefulness. And as you exhale, think of a color that would represent any emotions holding you back. Maybe frustration has a color, shame has a color, anxiety has a color, and just see those colors or shades leaving your body every time you breathe out, enabling you to not only feel deeper and deeper relaxed, but to feel more and more resourceful with each and every breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a giant floating bubble. I want you to imagine the bubble is transparent, but that anything in the bubble is invisible. Even the bubble itself is only visible to you, invisible to anyone and anything else. So as you step into the bubble, feel a floating sensation as to what you would feel like if you were in a floating bubble that could hold your weight and to take you upwards. Feel that light floating sensation. And as you breathe in and breathe out, this bubble will take you back to moments in your past. Not to change the past, but to change the emotions connected with the past. There are many useful and valuable attributes you have from your unique past. Independence, resilience, awareness. And I want you to acknowledge that good things can come from bad things, but also that we can change how you feel about those things that can't change. Breathing in and breathing out and feeling that floating bubble taking you back, all the way back, over time, but also over distance. And I want you to imagine floating all the way back to a home very far away. Perhaps you can go all the way back to an entirely different country. And I want you to see, from the safety of this floating bubble, where you can observe and no one can observe you, a household that is emotionally charged. Perhaps you can imagine seeing a large hallway, big enough perhaps to be its own room. Maybe you can see someone preparing the hair of a young girl, perhaps putting their hair in pigtails. And I want you to see the innocence of that small child, maybe enjoying having her hair done, completely unaware of the future that life had in store. You can observe from the safety of a bubble the strange expressions on people's faces, emotional, maybe crying, This almost seems like a goodbye. And I want you to follow from that floating bubble that small girl, the younger version of you, perhaps just 5 years old. While she is still in that building, in that country, before significant life changes. And when you see that girl looking relaxed and on her own, I want you to imagine it's now time to leave the bubble. And imagine freezing time for everyone else apart from you and that little girl, that younger version of you. And I want you to imagine that you have a small gift box. I want you to say hello to that little girl. Tell her that you are someone that cares. I want you to build rapport with that little girl, whichever way feels natural. Maybe complimenting her on those pigtail hair, maybe the clothes she wears. And as you start to get to know this little girl, I want you to tell her that you are there to listen and you are there to help. And you ask her if she has any questions about all of the emotion, or maybe she's overheard certain things. And if she has any questions, then answer them. But I want you to tell that little girl that she is strong, she is loved, and that changes are happening for her. And I want you to imagine telling that girl she can see you and you can see her. What will happen over the next few years? Not to scare her, not to upset her, but to help prepare her. Tell her there might be difficult things, but I want you to give that younger version of you the information and advice you needed most back then. What words would have helped you to deal with the change and uncertainty? And imagine saying those words. And then briefly take the perspective of that younger version of you and then hear those words as if you were that girl at that age. What did you need to hear? What did you need explaining? So that you didn't feel let down or lost, disrupted. And as you hear those words, feel a growing sense of preparedness. That a storm is coming, but you know it's coming. And then imagine seeing that older version of you, but not knowing it's you, the you from the future, giving you a gift. And inside that little gift box, that woman says, This is a resource to help you through the next few years. And you can see a glowing ball of energy. And the woman says, "This is the resource that you need most right now." And I want you to think, as a 5-year-old, what resource that would be. Faith, strength, resilience, or maybe something else. So feel like you're taking that resource, that glowing ball of energy, placing it on your heart and absorbing that resource, so you feel more prepared for this strange future. Shift perspective, so you're now back in your body, seeing a young girl that seems mentally prepared for a chaotic future. And I want you to give her one final piece of advice, so that she will see that this will help her in some way. Maybe it will help with that resilience, with problem solving, with self-belief. And as you share that wisdom, give her a hug. Tell her she is worthy, she is loved, and that you will be there to protect her. You say goodbye, and then you climb back in your bubble, and I want you to drift forwards, perhaps 2 years into the future. And I want you to now find yourself perhaps in a London flat, hovering over brown floors, until you see that younger version of you at perhaps 7 years old. And when you see her, perhaps in her bedroom, playing or just reading, imagine freezing time again, so time only exists for you and the younger version of you. You leave the bubble and you say hello, and I want you to see how happy this younger version of you is to see you. Big smile. She leaps up, gives you a hug, and I want you to ask her how she's been, and really listen. Listen to what's good, but also listen to some of the challenges, the fears. Listen to it all. And I want you to tell this young girl, perhaps only 7 years old, that you are proud of her. You're proud that she was able to make the adjustment, to get used to a new life, to play the cards that she was dealt. That you are proud of her intelligence, her resolve, her inner strength. And I want you to tell her all of the things you needed to hear when you were that old. Maybe how capable you are, that it wasn't your fault, that the people that let you down shouldn't have let you down, whatever you needed to hear, tell that little girl those words. And then I want you to give this little girl perhaps a new form of preparation that not all people can be trusted, that she should be on the lookout for people with agendas, not to scare her, but that certain strangers, or even people that pose as friends, aren't what they seem. And maybe to tell her that if she's ever cornered or feeling vulnerable, to scream out loud, to run as fast as she can. And I want you to give her another gift. And maybe that is courage or inner strength or something else, so that she can continue to make the adjustments to this new life, but also to be on guard if anyone does anything inappropriate. Tell this 7-year-old girl that she is worthy, she is loved, she is important. And I want you to ask the little girl if she needs anything right now, any help, anything that she needs to share. And whatever she needs, feel like you can give that to her. Tell her that you believe in her, that she is more capable than she realizes. And then give her a hug and say goodbye. Climb back in your bubble and just let her know that you will see her soon. As you float up in your bubble, you go forwards, perhaps, 3 years into the future. And I want your bubble to float towards a wedding. And I want you to see a 10-year-old version of you dressed in whatever clothes you were wearing at that wedding. And when she's on her own, pop out of your bubble, freeze time for everyone else. And again, notice how happy she is to see you. Give her a hug. Ask her how she is. And to tell her that you will help protect her. Unfreeze time and climb back in your bubble, being entirely invisible, and follow this 10-year-old version of you around up until the point where something inappropriate happens. You see this 10-year-old version of you in a vulnerable position. But I want you to notice that something's changed. See her screaming out loud. And then see the shocked face of the person involved. And even before you can do anything. This 10-year-old version of you has run away. But you're still there. At your current age, with all your wisdom, you are there. And I want you to freeze time for everyone, apart from you and this strange man at this wedding. His feet are glued to the floor. He can't walk or run or move from where he is. And I want you to say all the things you would have wanted to have said. How he scared this girl. What he's doing is wrong. Anything else that comes to mind, just tell this man. Feel your voice strong, powerful. Any emotions, let them out. Directed at this person only. You see, not an intimidating man, but a cowardly opportunist, looking for easy prey, not expecting to see a full-grown woman. I want you to imagine that maybe shame, embarrassment, whatever you were carrying from the past that was holding you back, you now give as a gift to this man. That the shame is now his to carry, no one else's. And you place that glowing ball of energy that represents shame on his chest. And you see that face change. I want you to unfreeze time. And I want you to see a humiliated, embarrassed, shameful man walking away almost like a dog with his tail between his legs. And I want you to go to that 10-year-old version of you, to give them a hug, say you're proud of them, proud for screaming out loud, proud of them for running away, that it was the man in the wrong, not them. But tell them that if anyone does anything like this again, to scream out loud, to run for help. Give them whatever reassurance, wisdom, insight you feel that they need. But most of all, give them a hug. Tell them this has nothing to do with them. And you're proud of how they held themselves courageously, that they didn't need to hide or be unappealing. Tell them they look beautiful, dressed in those wedding clothes. Give them a hug and say goodbye, and tell them you'll see them soon. And then go forward in time, perhaps just 2 or 3 years, until you see that 12 or 13-year-old version of you. the appropriate time, jump out of your bubble, say hello, give them a hug, ask how they're getting on, but also give them some tips as to how to deal with perhaps someone that is playing games. I want you to be the protection that was missing for you. And that protection could be insight, awareness, decision making, but also a physical presence. And I want you to pay a visit to that person that was trying to get too close to a 12-year-old girl. And I want you to say whatever needs to be said to scare them off. To make them think, perhaps reevaluate their life decisions, but to definitely stay well away from that 12 or 13-year-old version of you. But before you leave this place, there's one more person to visit. I want you to find your mother when you were that age at 12 or 13. And I want you to tell her all the things that her inaction caused. And as you give her that information, I want you to give her a resource. The resource, perhaps, to enable her to be the mother you needed, but didn't have. You give her the knowledge, the information you would have loved to have had at that time. And maybe there's other things that need to be said. Any frustrations, let them out. Any anger, let it out. Whatever needs to be said, say it. Representing everything you wish you could have said as a child but didn't have the right words or the right knowledge or the right frame of reference. You're giving a voice to that child that couldn't articulate what you can articulate now. And maybe you can help her to see that she's stronger than she thinks. And some people don't change, but some people do. The important thing is not that she changes, but that you say what needs to be said. And then it's time to say goodbye. But you say goodbye one last time to that younger version of you. And I want you to tell her she doesn't need to become unappealing. She doesn't need to put on weight to keep herself safe. that she can be proud of who she is, that she is capable and strong. And notice any vigilance inside you right now feels like it's resetting. Too much vigilance can lead to stress and anxiety, and too little is reckless. So feel like you can have just as much as you need, and allow the changes of the past to ripple all the way to the present and the future as open loops become closed, and that the changes that need to take place to enable you to be aware of the past and learn from the past, but not be held down by the past. That your past didn't destroy you. It strengthened you. That every cloud has a silver lining. And for those things that you were let down, probably gave you a feeling of self-resourcefulness. The disappointments simply mean that you have high standards. So allow changes to take place, so you can take what you need from the past and leave the rest behind. And then climb back into your bubble. Float up all the way to the present moment, observing the ripples through time. How would those changes in your past change who you are today? Observe them, see them. Keep what's good and leave the rest behind. Observe your timelines shifting and changing all the way to the present moment, as you then observe yourself where you are right now, listening to my voice, and you leave the bubble and walk into your present body, taking all the changes with you. As you now take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, feeling that when I count from 1 to 10, a new version of you will awaken. An empowered, positive, optimistic version of you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.